recording button. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, so this is official. Happy Friday. Today is November 12th, and we are going to work on our fourth and last student success workshop for chess. So this is exciting, bittersweet at the same time. My name is Diana Kay. I am the Academic Success Advisor for chess, and I will be leading the presentation here. One of our peer student mentors, Alejandra, she's going to be co-presenting with me. She's stuck a little bit on traffic, so hopefully she'll be here pretty soon. But those of you who are attending virtually, please, if you can, turn on your cameras. I love to see faces. That would certainly help a little bit more. We seems to be kind of like a small group. So I would really, really appreciate if you guys can show your pretty faces on this Friday morning. And we're gonna go ahead and start. Also, don't forget to put your name, email, and G number on the chat box. I'm gonna go ahead and start with sharing my screen so we can start our presentation. All right, so share screen, here we go. We do have a few students attending in person. Hi.
My mask broke when I was coming up to Horizon. If you guys have some, that would be amazing.
Alejandra's here, everyone. So this is good, but you know, Friday, anything can happen. We also have another student joining us in person. Thank you so much for coming. So we are going to start, and Alejandra, just get comfortable, sit here near me once you're ready. We shall start. So boost your well-being. What are we going to be working on today? So we're going to start with defining what actually well-being is. There are actually more than just one dimension for well-being. So we have the 8 dimensions of well-being. We're going to cover each one of them so you guys can understand what well-being actually entitles. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Alejandra here with us. Alejandra Plitt is one of our chess peer student success mentors, and we are very happy to have you here. And we're just starting with the agenda for today. Yes, at the end, not at the end, towards the end, we're gonna talk a little bit about well-being, what you actually do in order to boost your well-being. I know each one of us have certain ways to take care of ourselves, your self-care. So it's also important for all of us to share what you're actually already doing, what works for you. If we have time, I am hoping, certainly it's a great thing to start our Fridays to work on a little mindfulness relaxation exercise. It's about 5 minutes. So if you guys can hang out a little bit after 11 and participate, it's a wonderful exercise. I do it once in a while when I'm very stressed out. I do that with my kids when they can't sleep. So it's a wonderful, wonderful way to start your day, to relax, to feel grounded. And then we're going to share some additional resources regarding all the different options available here at Mason. All right. And because the connection usually is a little bit slow here, whenever I click on my screen, it takes a little bit of time to go to the next screen. But this is where we are. So well-being, right? We have to keep an open mind to understand or have a different awareness of what actually well-being means, right? We all have different ways to define it, right? But this is a very, very nice way to define well-being. And this is actually taken from the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. So well-being is a positive outcome that is meaningful specifically to you, right? And for many other sectors of society, because it tells us that people perceive that their lives are going well. So think about that for a moment. So it's a positive outcome. Think about yourself, your life, right? Do you perceive currently that your lives are going well? That positive outcome is what tells us whether you feel that you have a good, sense of well-being. So while we are talking about all this, I want you to reflect, to maybe if you want to write things down, think about what well-being means to you and whether this definition of perceiving that your lives are going well, you're feeling currently like you are in that particular sense. Alejandra.
There is no consensus around a single definition of well-being, but there is a general agreement that at minimum, well-being includes the following: the presence of positive emotions and moods like contentment and happiness, the absence of negative emotions, depression and anxiety, and satisfaction with life, fulfillment, and positive functioning. Those all seem like reading them a little bit simple, but if you kind of think about it, it's hard to maintain those three all at once. So it seems more common to just maybe have one going really well and then kind of lacking in the other two. So it's not as simple as it seems. So it's important to take time to understand what balance you have going on.
Exactly. So yes, definitely think about this. So you need positive emotions, good moods, right? You need to not have as many negative emotions. I mean, it's impossible not to have negative emotions, especially now that we're getting closer to the end of the semester, a lot of anxiety, and then satisfaction with life. Right? So quickly, those who are there behind the computer, just type quickly, what is one positive emotion that you have, that you're feeling right now? And what would be one negative emotion? Just whatever comes to your mind. I'm going to put my chat here. So tell us, what are some of those positive emotions? We also have a student here with us. I'm sorry, I didn't ask you for your name. What's your name? Connor? Okay, so Connor, what's one good positive emotion that you're feeling right now? Optimism. All right. And a negative one? Little tiredness, perhaps. Yeah. So definitely, those are things we see: positive, excitement, anxious, for sure. There are lots of mixed emotions, right? Especially now that we are getting closer to finals and all these things. We're excited. Christmas is coming. Thanksgiving is coming. So all those things are okay to feel. But you need to keep that balance, right? To make sure that you're satisfied with your life, that you feel that you are fulfilled, right? In this positive way of functioning. So I'm clicking here. It takes a little bit of time to go to the next slide. Next. There you go. Okay. So the 8 emotions of well-being. So this is when it gets a little bit tricky, because we tend to think well-being is what? It's just like, yoga, meditation, exercising, right? But there's a lot more that comes to us, right? When we're looking into well-being. So there are actually 8 different dimensions. We are multidimensional, right? We're just not one thing, we're several things. We have our physical, which is where we normally tend to go when we think about well-being. We have spiritual, we have, let me move here a little bit, intellectual, we have social well-being, occupational well-being, financial, environmental, and of course, emotional. So all these different dimensions, they kind of interact constantly, right? They overlap one with the other. And it's basically this active process, right, of being okay in each one of those dimensions in order to feel that overall sense of well-being and being okay, right? So reading here a little bit about what we have here is becoming aware of and making choices for a healthy and fulfilling life. Making choices, right? A lot of this well-being, yes, there are external factors, but it depends on you, how you make those decisions, how you make those choices in life. It's a dynamic process of change and growth, right? So these are the different components. I'm going to check a little bit here. Let's see what else, what other emotions and feelings we have here. Happy, stressed? Yes, Alex, we are all feeling the same way right now. It's balance, right? So let's take a look at all these different dimensions and how they interact. Okay, I'm clicking again. It takes a little bit of time. There you go. Oh, now it's a lot. Okay, so we're going to start with the one we know the most, right? Physical well-being. So with this one, we know that it's important to keep an eye on our body, right? How healthy we feel, our strength, vitality, and energy. So this is when it's very convenient to think about the well-being of meditating, exercising, eating healthy, right? But what about these other things that you guys see here? Do you think about medical checkups when you're thinking about your physical well-being? Sometimes we tend to forget about that, right? It's important to also go to the doctor once in a while and check how you're doing. Right now, we are still going through a pandemic, right? So we need to follow public regulations for safety, right? That is part of our well-being, physical well-being. So wearing the mask, following all the different guidelines, particularly here being at Mason, we need to think about the others as well and make sure that we are protected and we are protecting others. This one, I know this is a little bit like, yes, don't do drugs and alcohol. Of course, that's not going to help. But what I say is, in this case, we all make our own decisions, right? As long as you are safe, as long as you are not hurting yourself or others, you have the freedom of choosing what you want to do, right? Specifically about this. And we have different resources here at Mason, right? So some of these resources, let's think about the most important one. And by the way, I'm gonna pause here for a second. All our attendees, I will be sending you this presentation, which includes in the notes different links for options here at Mason. So let me see if I exit here, and I'm sure I'm gonna regret it because technology is it's not technology. This is a little bit slow. Here it is. So we are at this one here, right? So when we look at the notes, you're going to be able to see different resources. So we have counseling and psychological services, CAPS, really important to keep an eye on how to balance all these different dimensions of well-being. Disability services, if you need any support, they're available there. Student and health services. I think all of us know this department, this office, vaccination and so forth, but they also provide medical checkups. If you want to, you have access to them. And some other links available here. So for sure, look into those. If you haven't done that yet, this is a good resource for you to figure that those locations and where you can have access to them. All right, sharing again. Next slide.
So we have emotional and mental well-being, being aware and managing your feelings, being at peace with who you are, and having the tools you need to weather life's ups and downs. What you can do, engage in mental health habits and stress relief strategies, mindfulness strategies, meditation, talk it out, respect yourself and others, and get to know what's available at Mason. Yeah, these are all, like I mentioned earlier, these are all things that kind of require that one choice first. Taking the time to prioritize these things, I think is like maybe should be the first step before you do that, to dedicate some time to be able to concentrate on actually engaging these habits and having these meditation moments and talking it out and everything like that.
Yes. Yeah, that's absolutely true. How many of us here engage in meditation or mindfulness strategies? Just kind of put something in the chat. Those who are here, I do some meditation once in a while. Yeah, Connor, any meditation? You don't really do it? Okay, so, and that's okay. Sometimes it can be not easy, right? Finding the right time to do it. It's not sometimes the best moment to do it. I get it. But mindfulness and meditation is something that you can actually actively practice even when you're sitting, even when you are, let's say, walking to your next classroom, things like that. Mindfulness and meditation means that you are aware of your present moment, what you're doing, right? So I'll give you a simple a way to do that. So when you're walking, one way to be connected with things is just look around. I see trees, I see the buildings, I see others walking. That connectedness with others, right, makes you feel like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm part of all these different things that are here in our world. And so that mindfulness is being aware of where you are. keeps you grounded. It's funny when you say grounded, I feel like I'm just gonna ground my kids, right? But it's not that. It's just feeling that you are connected with your environment. So those are simple things, right? Meditating, of course, you can take it to a next step. And if you have an hour to sit and just let your mind be quiet, that's fantastic. But if you're busy like all of us, that might not be possible. So just engage in connecting with your surroundings. If you have the opportunity, talk with others, absolutely wonderful. So yeah, those are some options. Anybody could give me any other ways to engage in, emotional well-being? What else would you do? What do you think? Anybody virtually that can give us an example of what you do to stay healthy emotionally? Hobbies, of course. Thank you, Alex. Of course, practicing something that you find amusing, something that is nice to you, right? Lots of positive emotions there. Stress relief, for sure. That's a great idea. So think about your hobbies. Are you practicing in your bed? If you're not, maybe that's something that you need to keep an eye on, right? Maybe just go back to looking into those things that you used to do. I love painting and I love drawing. Taking breaks when you need, don't overwhelm yourself. Yeah. So those things that help you take a break from the routine, from where you are stuck doing things, right? So to me, is either maybe listening to a nice song that I have in my mind, taking a sip of coffee, anything, right, that works for you. Okay, I'm trying to click. I'm promising you, I'm trying to go to the next one. There you go. Okay, so our next one is environmental well-being. This is one that sometimes we neglect a little bit. We don't think about the environment or our surroundings as a way to improve our well-being, right? So that impact that we create, that we have over our environment. Environment means not only where you live, right? But let's say here at Mason, your dorm, the building, the entire campus. We're talking about your home. We're talking about all the overall environment that surrounds you. That makes an impact, right? We are sensitive to what happens outside of us, external. So how you interact with your environment affects your well-being, right? So think about your housing situation. That one can be a little bit stressful. Sometimes, perhaps if you are, sharing your room with a roommate, and sometimes that can be stressful. So think about whether you are in a good situation there or not, and what you can do, of course, to alleviate any difficulties. Get to know what's available on Mason. At Mason, you'll see this one in each one of our dimensions. There's a lot here that you can do. You can actually engage in community activities to help the environment. And I'm sure we have organizations, we have groups available here at Mason that can combine those two things, right? You can do some community activities, but also help the environment. Mason 360 would be a place to find different groups, different resources to get connected. One thing that is amazing about doing something good for others or your environment is that you feel very satisfied with yourself. And that is well-being as well. You feel like, oh, I did something nice, and you feel it, and it's nice to you. You feel proud of that. You can also think about checking or learning about the environment, right? What you can do individually as well is very important. Recycle, be, consciously aware of those choices, right? Should I, buy plastic all the time, or maybe just paper plates? Things like that help a little bit, make you feel better. All right, I want to hear what you do, just a couple words if you can on the chat, how you connect with your environment and how that makes you feel good. What good things do you do?
This isn't on such a big scale as like cleaning the environment outside and everything, which is really important. But something that really helps my emotional well-being is cleaning my room.
Yeah.
And having whatever workspace or sleeping space that I have to be clean, just starting small, within your house, it helps. It like makes a difference.
Yes, yeah, for sure. How about you, Connor?
I think there's like this kind of community service.
Community service?
Figure out dry cleaning, like,
Yeah. How did you feel when you did that? Right? Yes. Awesome. Yeah, it makes you feel like you're doing something good and it's a positive thing. Sam on the chat says that volunteering for local community cleanups. I mean, yeah, it makes an impact, right? It's a difference and you feel very, very satisfied with what you do there. So for sure, those are wonderful things that you can do to stay connected with the environment and feel good at the same time. Click in for the next one and wait. And what it does is it goes to the chat. Come on, there you go. Is this the fourth one? Yes, just have to make sure I'm not jumping ahead. Oh my goodness, this one, financial well-being. That one is a little scary one. I think Alejandro's gonna talk a little bit about this one.
This is a little scary. Your relationship with money and skills for managing resources, as well as your ability to make good consumer choices and seek out appropriate financial opportunities. What you can do: monitor your budget and learn about personal finances, save money and learn to invest, explore financial aid services, and get to know what's available at Mason. This is also a little hard because there's so many resources out there that aren't given to people. And I feel like especially students, when, for example, we have students that live, their homes and families are really far. And so they're from out of state and they're at Mason and there's a lot of things that they have to worry about paying for. And of course, there's resources that are out there for them, but there's also, I hear a lot of people struggling, like, I don't have any extra money. I don't. And, a part of that is how do they prioritize and monitor their budget? And the other half of that is what else is out there that they just don't know about, like aid that can help.
Yes. So there's a lot of information about scholarships and grants. You can find out things at the, George Mason level, but also within CHAS as well, and different resources of different departments and offices. So I'm going to go to my resources here, my notes, so we can see some of those. There's a lot happening, but I'm going to mention a couple ones that are good, and here they are. So of course, if you haven't done that yet, financial services, that's the hub for all these different resources available. Federal loans, private loans are also available, but there are lots of different scholarships. So I know we don't have a lot of time, but I encourage you to explore this one. There are different deadlines for applying and at certain times throughout the semester, but there's always options available. Aaron, I would like to ask you if you know what's currently open. Do you know anything that is available for students to apply at the moment?
For like the scholarship cycle, I believe the scholarship cycle opens December 1.
Scholarship cycle, December 1.
Right.
Okay.
So that would be, open applications for any available scholarship
There you
throughout
go.
the university.
Mhm.
I believe December 1 is the opening for that, but there are other financial support services that you can apply for anytime, like the formerly known as State Mason.
State Mason,
Right.
State Mason.
Anytime you need to input an application for that, but in
Yes.
general, and we can verify this, December 1 is when that tends to
Thank you.
open.
I wasn't sure exactly about the date, but that is certainly good information for you. It's fine. It's okay to apply for these different resources. And lots of students do that. It can help you to, relieve a little bit of that stress, that tension of, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money. And for simple things as well, like as simple as I want to eat a little bit better. I want to eat a little bit healthier, but I don't have cash for that. Perhaps having access to these things, you can do it, right? So I want to hear a little bit again from you guys. Are you currently using any loans? Do you know where to apply for these different scholarships? I mean, until now, what are you doing right now for your financial well-being? Save money. Mm-hmm. How do you save money?
Um, just wait to the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I use the money I will keep.
Okay.
Something important. So I read.
Okay, yeah, so saving the money, waiting for the right moment, and when it's something truly important, that's when you spend the money. So yeah, that's budgeting, thinking ahead, right? Sam is mentioning that he relies on financial aid and would like to know where to apply for scholarships. So definitely you can use that link that is available here on the presentation. As soon as we're done, I will forward this presentation to all of you. There's some work that you need to do in order to apply for these scholarships, but it's certainly worth it. So Sam and everybody else, you will be receiving these links where you can look into those different options for sure. But as Connor was saying, saving, it's super important, right? I mean, budgeting your money. Don't overspend on things that you might not need. Just be wise how you use your money, how you are paying for things as well. I tend to be a little bit of, I save money, but when I like something, sometimes I don't think about it and I buy it, and that's not the right thing to do. And now that Christmas is coming and holidays, you're gonna need to save money to buy presents and all these things. So this is a great time to think about budgeting and saving some of your financials and money. All right. Next.
Can I mention one other thing
Yes,
about
please.
financial?
Yes.
I think another good important aspect of that phrase financial well-being was the last part of the paragraph that said financial opportunities.
Okay.
So
Yes.
there's a lot, like as a student, sometimes it may not feel like you can actually do some growing of your financial resources, but I think there's an element of figuring out how can I be savvy so that it's not, I'm not feeling like a paycheck to paycheck. I feel like if you start young, because I definitely did not start young trying to figure out like
Take our
what are
advice.
stocks, what is retirement, and figuring out ways to go beyond your budget into let me learn a little bit more about how I can, sustain things for myself and grow things for myself from a young age. I feel like it's so valuable.
It is really valuable. And in fact, if you want to learn a little bit more about how to be good with your finances, there are courses available here. I would have to, do you know one at the top of your head?
Yeah, so
Mike's.
Mike's is it's UNIV.
I'm gonna type it here.
Something, maybe 380. The title of it is Financial Literacy.
Okay.
And it's one of the upper level UNIV courses, and it is on the schedule for spring.
So look for an upper level.
Yeah.
Learning about these things, right? You might not get the chance to go to a classroom and actually learn about it, but there are options here at Mason. I should take one of those classes myself too,
Me too.
right?
Me too.
It's like we need to learn, and yeah, we're past beyond that point of getting those good habits. But you guys still can do it. So we definitely encourage you to look for those options. I'm trying to click next. And it will happen eventually. There it is. Occupational well-being. This is our fifth level here of our well-being dimensions. So in this case, we're looking into what you do, right? The work you do. Very tied to our previous financial well-being, right? Occupational, that's where our source of income comes. And in your case, you're still here, working on getting a degree and things like that. You can start thinking about this from this moment on, right? As a Mason student, we put a lot of emphasis into thinking about your career, even though you are just a student at the moment, right? Employment opportunities, internships, all these things certainly help you to keep this occupational well-being in the right place, right? The work you choose to do and how it contributes to your community and fulfills you. It's two things, right? So it's fulfillment. Of course, you need to have stability for your own life, but it's also what you do for your community, right? You want to make sure that your career has a positive impact right? With those, or in the community where you are, or, worldwide, any different levels, right? That gives you fulfillment and makes you feel completely satisfied. So think about these things. So define your career goals and make a plan to achieve them. Depending on, or rather what I want to say is, no matter where you are in your academics at the moment, think about your career goals, right? What's that ultimate goal that you want to achieve? Once you know that, then you need to come up with a plan. How to achieve that, right? What are those steps? There are always ups and downs of any career, the field that you choose. There's always certain risks, right? It's good to be aware of those. No, I don't think there's a career where there are no risks or negatives or anything like that. There's always things that you need to consider, and that's okay, right? You can still come up with this balance of, the outcomes, positive things, keeping in mind the little difficulties that might come around. We have an amazing office on campus, University Career Services. They have so many resources. They are there to help you out. They have advisors, industry advisors, multiple resources online. If you want to start from the beginning, like, okay, what are my skills? What are my values? How do I connect that to my current major? How do I combine all these things or connect those things with an actual career? How do I get there? What are those different steps? Very specific things as well. I want to enhance my resume. I want to find an internship. I would like to find employment on campus. You can find all these different options at the website for University Career Services. Links are in the notes, will be sent to you guys. But there's a lot of research that you can do, right? And it's ongoing. That's the other thing that you need to be aware of. Sometimes we feel that, oh, I figured it out. I know my career. I know my job. End of the story. This is an ongoing process. The research for that dream job takes time, and it's a cycle. Sometimes it evolves, it changes. So you need to be aware of how to, manage all those different moments in your cycle. So how many of you guys already have a clear career goal? To say, like, I have a goal, or I don't have one yet, career-wise.
I'm trying.
I'm
I'm trying to clear it up as the semesters go by. I'm trying to narrow it down. But for me, I want to get into psychology. So that's, it's a lot. It's a lot of things.
Big field. And what options are you thinking about?
Well, I don't know if I want to stick. I want to research stuff, or do I want to have my own practice with like people that I'm working with? And also, like, am I going to want small kids to work with or adults? So it's a lot of things to consider that I need to talk to my advisor about too.
There you go.
Dr. Hurley helps a lot.
Dr. Hurley, yes. Each one of you has a team of academic advisors available at your department, your major, and that's a good way to start. If you don't know where to go, first step is go talk to your academic advisor.
Yes.
And they can point out different resources. They can actually help you to start with that plan, right? To see, okay, this is where I can go, or at least, first baby steps that you can take. So tell me, you guys there on the chat. So what are your majors currently? Like just type communication or type psychology. I want to hear the different majors here. And Connor, of course, you are anthropology. All right. Okay. So Connor is an anthropology student. What are your career goals? Do you have any career goals? Not yet. Okay, research, and that's fine, right? So what would be a first step that you would take in order to think about this future career for you? Okay. If you like it, okay. So Connor is telling us that he's kind of exploring how much he likes some of his current classes, right? So that's one good way to explore your interest, your how they connect to your values and things like that. That's actually pretty key. Sometimes we forget about that and we're looking into, oh, whatever gives me money, whatever is popular, but it's not, it might not be connected to what you truly want to do and what you're good at. You have to consider those things. So thank you. We have a history major, Sam's a history major, Abigail, criminology, lots of different options, resources. It can be so overwhelming that I would say, if at the very least, you want to start with a couple of things. One, talk with your academic advisor. And second, visit the Office of the Career Services website. There is so, lots of different opportunities there, resources. I'm sure you've heard before, I hope so, their portal for job search, which is Handshake. Handshake is a great way for you to start looking into how does it look like to put a resume out there? How do you describe your skills, what you're good at? How you can look at, prospect different employment opportunities, companies, all these sort of things within a safe environment, I would say. So explore Handshake for sure is a wonderful place to look into for careers. Going back or taking this back to our sense of well-being, why do we think having a clear understanding of our occupational, dimension is important for well-being? Why would that be relevant?
I think there's a sweet spot between occupational well-being and emotional well-being. And I think that everyone should try their best to find a good place in the middle, because if you go towards, too much emotional well-being, you might be lacking a little bit of work time or hours, you know what I mean? And if you go too, far on the occupational side, you might be lacking that emotional well-being, or you're working too much, or you don't like your job.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're talking about balancing the different dimensions, right? So occupational, because it's what gives us our, salary, money, that affects so many other things, right? On that level, but also your satisfaction, your emotional well-being, how satisfied you feel with what you're doing, right? How important you feel what you're doing is. So if you look at all those different things, they are affected, the different levels or dimensions, just by this one, right? So occupational, of course, social, you're working, right? So your friends most likely will be, your new friends, once you start working, will be from the same industry, from that place where you're working, right? Intellectual, how stimulated you will be in that new field where you're gonna get into. So those are so many things that you have to consider, right? That's why occupational is so critical. But sometimes we don't feel like it's part of our actual well-being, right? It's more like, yeah, it's just a job that we need to get, but it really impacts every of these other dimensions of well-being. Yes. All right. So social well-being, that's our dimension number 6.
Okay, so how you choose to define and connect with your community and the people around you. We can get involved with Mason at Mason 360 or 360. Volunteer and give to your community, participate in events, join a group or organization, stay in touch with peers, friends, professors, and advisors. A few of the mentees that I've worked with have mentioned that their social well-being at Mason in particular was something that they were a little bit concerned about, because maybe their social well-being outside of school, like how they socialize with their family or friends that don't go here, is established. But then they get to they're at Mason and they don't have a social network really in place. And so like I'm sure this slide also has a little resources as well. Yeah. I've sent those to them so they can kind of see, because we have so many groups, clubs, organizations that are here, that it can kind of be overwhelming, because there's a lot of options. Yes, multiple options, but that's not a bad thing, right? In Mason 360, when you go there, there's a search box. It's just basically like going to Google. So just type things that you are interested in, right?
it's amazing if you can link your career and professional interests with different social activities, but it doesn't have to be just that, right? Let's say you are a criminology student, but you absolutely love arts. So maybe look for groups that are involved with different forms of arts, painting, drawing, sculptures, things like that. So there are multiple, I would say hundreds of organizations available that would suit one way or another some of your interests. Any of you are currently being part or participating with a group or an organization that helps you with this social dimension? If you do, just let me know, type it in the chat box. And for us here, so I know you, Alejandra, you are part of our student peer mentorship. Are you participating in any other social activities?
Yes, so this past weekend, I signed up for the Mason Illustrators.
Oh,
group.
seriously?
So that's
Cool.
an art club thing.
That sounds really
And then I
interesting.
also joined the Hispanic Association
Okay.
here at Mason.
Okay.
I'm really excited about that
Yes.
because it's very big. It's
Mhm.
very big. So I don't know what that's gonna entail, but I'm excited.
That
I
is
haven't
super
started yet,
exciting.
but-
Oh, that's so cool. Illustration sounds amazing. Hispanics, of course, you can tell I'm Hispanic, so I'm like, yay.
Yeah.
This is a very, very nice thing. How about you, Connor? Are you part of any groups or organizations currently now? And what would be something that you would be interested in if you explore something about? Mhm. Okay, something related with your major. So
I think
yeah.
there might actually be something with anthropology in there. I looked through the whole thing. So I think there's some good stuff in there that you might like.
All right, so yeah, definitely so many different options that you can look into. Just I want to hear from my guys here, virtual guys, right? So are you part of anything? I just want to know if you are involved with any organizations here at Mason. If you are, just let me know. Let us know. And again, if you are not and you're thinking, okay, Mason's SK8 Club, okay. Do we know what that one is about? Can you tell us a little bit?
Is that like skateboarding?
It's
Okay.
skateboarding, roller skating, rollerblading club.
Oh my, that sounds like
That
fun.
sounds so cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's exciting. Are you currently participating in the club, or you are thinking about it?
I went roller skating a couple nights ago, and I kind of fell into it. I met the co-presidents of the club on accident.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
So they asked me to join, so
Awesome.
I just joined like this week.
Okay, well,
awesome.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. I would join something like that if I wasn't, so busy and scared of breaking my bones or something
Yeah.
like that. But I think it's good if you have, as long as you have that connection of something that you really, really are interested, you're gonna find that participating in a group that is about that is gonna be very rewarding and very satisfying. So so many wonderful things that can come out of that. The social well-being impacts all the other dimensions as well, right? Your emotional, physical in this case, right? Helping with your physical well-being, making friends, just enjoying things. So you can see by now, we are going to look into dimension 7, that in each one of these dimensions, they are definitely connected, right? They're all doing something or affecting the other dimensions in another way, right? So hopefully you see by now that what we do for our well-being is very complex, right? You need to keep an eye on all these things. Intellectual well-being. So this one, it's good that we are in an academic institution, so that helps significantly to work with feeling stimulated, right? And engage with learning and staying open to new ideas and perspectives. Right now, being in an academic institution, this is wonderful, right? But at certain points in life, you might not be directly connected with an academic institution, and that's okay, right? but you do need to feel stimulated and engaged with learning, right? I know if you're here, if you're a Mason student, that means you like to learn, right? That you enjoy learning new things, and the learning process is ongoing throughout your entire life, right? So even outside academics, you can read books, you can participate in different things. Of course, your job, your future career, right? It needs to be intellectually stimulating for you to feel connected and satisfied, right? It can also be new ideas, new perspectives. Go and try things that are not what you're used to. You will learn, of course, from these different experiences and new situations. Things that you can do at the moment. Practice good study habits. This is super important as a current student, right? You might like to learn, you might be good at it, but you need the good study habits to make that happen and to turn it into good grades, good academics, and so forth. Working with the PASS program, for those who are not familiar with the PASS program, works with students who want to improve their academic and personal success. And a lot of what I see of things that lack in that case is when things are not going well, is not having the right study habits. And it can be also things like your time management, your planning and organizational skills. So those are at a very, very, intricate level related with your intellectual well-being, right? If you love to learn, but you don't have the good study habits, you're going to get frustrated and you're not going to enjoy learning. So think about it. Are you currently practicing good study habits? Time management, as I mentioned, but having a good space where you can think alone, right? Or if you're one of those individuals who love to work on a coffee shop, I can do that, or study in a coffee shop. But if that works for you, then you can do it, right? But plan ahead, be organized with your resources, right? Your computer, is it working? Is it going well? If you need any other resources, do you have them available? So these are things that are not specifically intellectual, right? But they facilitate that learning, that process of learning. Practice time management, right? Know the way you learn and how you study best. Some students, as I mentioned, prefer to work in groups. Learning can be a process of talking and discussing things, right? For some others, it might be the opposite, is more reading alone, in an individual way, absorbing and processing information. What's your way, right? What's the way that you do it? Perhaps it's both. So find those different styles for you to be, connected and be okay with your process of learning. If you don't know those things, there's also, resources available here on campus. We have the Learning Services Office where they can actually help you out figuring out, okay, so you're more, maybe extroverted, you prefer to work in groups, to do, study sessions, maybe you like to actually teach others. So they can help you figure out your best style and how to improve your current skills for learning. Know your strengths and areas of improvement, for sure. My case, for example, is I tend to be very detail oriented to the point that I might spend too much time on something because I want to finish it the best way. And then I'm not being smart with my time. So I know my time management needs a little bit of, tweaking there, but I am aware of that. And so I put a timer or things like that to help myself and remembering, okay, you just have this little bit of time available. So think about those things, your good learning habits or what you need to improve in this case. All right, let's continue with the next one. Spiritual, this is very, very big as well.
Yes, and I feel like this can also be a little scary for some people because a lot of people connect spiritual well-being or spirituality in general with all of these religions that we hear about all the time. But that's not really the case. It's just the essence of it is just understanding your, like it says, your place and your purpose. I feel like when we have a sense of what our purpose might be, or that we just have a purpose in general, and how that connects to everything else in the universe and our general well-being as a human. I feel like once we understand it at that level, it can be very beneficial for everybody.
Yes.
It helps you, like what we can do for spiritual well-being, explore your personal values, identify your core beliefs and attitudes, find others who share the same way that you see the world, and learn about what gives you comfort or relief.
Yeah, for sure. And again, look at this slide here. It doesn't have to be religion, as you said. If you are a religious person and you can practice all these things through your religion, that's wonderful, and nurture it and stay connected with that, right? Some others might not be very religious. That's also okay, right? But it's important to keep your spiritual well-being in the right place, right? So those things that you see here, right? Values, core beliefs, share with others or spend time with others that share similar beliefs or views of the world, right? And figure out what gives you comfort and relief. Sometimes this process takes a lot of time, right? For some of us, it might take us, a long time to figure out, okay, perhaps the current religious beliefs that I was raised into, they're okay, but they might not be giving me this different important things to stay connected spiritually. So explore other things, right? And also be aware of, we all are different, right? We all have different spiritual beliefs, different ways to connect with the world and others, right? And so it's important to respect those different beliefs of others, right? Without talking about specific religious practices, can you tell me one or two things you do for your spiritual well-being that works for you, that you feel connected and at peace in this case? Daily affirmations, Alex, that's absolutely true. Just staying connected with your, positive self in this case. It's a good way to keep your values, your personal values in the right place. I tried in my case, I try to do or practice being grateful for something every day. And I have to remind myself, because I tend to be a little bit negative sometimes. And I forget about, hey, you do have lots of positive and good things in life. So I tried in the mornings to say, okay, I literally talk to myself and say, I am grateful for my life, for my family, that my kids are doing well. I am grateful for my job. I am grateful for this new day. It's simple, but it makes me feel connected with everything else around me. And makes me feel good, right? Positive, like I'm doing something nice. What do you guys do to feel spiritually connected?
I do similar things as well. I just like to look at how my being, exists in the bigger picture. What can I do for the bigger picture, for the grand scheme of things? At the end of the day, everything is kind of positive, even if that day, what is it? It's a bad day, not a bad life, or something like that.
Okay, yeah,
so it's
true.
good to see things in the bigger picture. That helps me.
Yes, definitely. Connor, what do you do to stay spiritually healthy? Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So many things that you can do. Doing something good for another person. You can look into the other dimensions of well-being, and they can also help you with that, right? So giving back to the community, working to help the environment, those are ways to stay connected, right? To keep your core beliefs and your attitudes in practice. There's exploration for sure, especially when you're young. You need to kind of figure out, okay, what are my personal values sometimes, right? What are my core beliefs? Sometimes it's easy. Some of us have it, clear from the beginning, but for some others, it's a self-exploration process that might take a lot of time. That's perfectly fine, but engage in those things. Figure out what your actual values are, your core beliefs. Those are the things that give direction to your life. So it's super, super important to do that. All right, so we covered the 8 dimensions of well-being. It's basically in a nutshell. Of course, there's a lot more that we should be talking about to understand. You guys heard a lot of information here. We talk a lot here, but I want to, just tell me, and you can type it in the chat, it's okay. From all those 8 dimensions, which one do you feel in your personal self level that you need to improve? Which of those 8 dimensions? Just type it on the chat box and think about it. I think in my case, definitely financial, financial well-being.
Financial too. I'm gonna find the little thing.
It's
here.
there, yeah. So we have in the chat, we have Alex, we have Abigail, Sam, Ella. So Abigail, spiritual. So you need to be connected a little bit more. How about yours? Spiritual? Spiritual? Yes. Okay, for sure. Ella and Sam, just type what would be one thing that one dimension that you would like to improve. Lily as well. Ella, need to work a little bit more on the spiritual one. Okay.
Me too.
Yeah. It's a difficult one because occupational for Alex, because the spiritual is an ongoing process in life. It's something that you need to constantly revisit, explore, and find those kind of like the essence of what you truly feel comfortable with. Emotional for Lily, yes. Keeping all those things, that those positive emotions, or the balance between the positive and the negative emotions. And so think about what you can do to boost, to improve those dimensions that you feel like, okay, I need to, do a little more about it. So definitely this presentation brings different tips, different ways to improve those dimensions. So go back to the presentation whenever you have time, just kind of like a checklist, like, okay, this is what I can do for occupational. So university career services, that's one that I can go explore it, do something about it. Definitely, it will help you to stay more balanced with all the different dimensions. Now, let's see if this is what I think it is. Okay, so this one, I hope you guys can stay with us. It's 11 a.m. So I hope you can stay with us 5 more minutes if you want to. This is something that I love to do whenever I have a moment, is a mindfulness relaxation exercise. So it takes about 5 minutes and I will guide you through the process. So if you have the time, please stay with us. Those who are here, you're just going to pay attention to what I tell you. Use this opportunity to actually relax a little bit, okay? Pay some attention, and here we go. Those behind on the chat, just kind of stay there, comfortable. Don't do anything. Just follow my guidance, okay? So in this exercise, what we're gonna do is we're gonna inhale and exhale, of course, right? So when we inhale, we will inhale for a count of 4, and then when we exhale for a count of 4, okay? So feel comfortable, relax a little bit, okay? Close your eyes, pay attention to what I'm saying. So start to disengage your mind from any busy thoughts or ideas. If you have your eyes open, close them slowly, okay? Allow the outside world to gradually melt away and dissolve into empty space. Focus on the crown of your head. Gradually imagine that all the tension in the muscles dissolves away. Then focus on the temples and forehead, imagining any tension or pain dissolving away, draining down through your body into the ground. Take a deep breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Imagine the tension in your jaw and ears gradually melting away. Imagine any tension draining down through your body into the ground. My head is now comfortable and relaxed. We gently work our way down the body, relaxing each part and letting the tension drain away. Now, focus on your neck and shoulders. Try to relax the shoulders. Lift them up gently, and as they drop, imagine all the tension dissolving down into the ground. Inhale, lift the shoulders a little bit. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, drop the shoulders. 2, 3, 4. You're really letting go of all the tension that is being held in your shoulders. You can feel it. My neck and shoulders are now comfortable and relaxed. Now, relax your arms and hands, imagining all the tension in these areas drains out of your fingertips and far into the distance. Take a deep breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Bring your attention to the front of your body. Focus on the chest and the stomach. Imagine that all the tension drains away, disappearing as you focus on it. Imagine any fear, tension, or stress that have built up within the stomach disappears. My chest and stomach are comfortable and relaxed. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Then we focus on our legs and feet. Imagining any tension disappearing out of the soles of the feet, leaving you feeling comfortable and relaxed. All the tension drains out of our body. My entire body is comfortable and relaxed. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Now gently bring your right hand to your heart. Take a deep breath again. Feel your heart. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Now very gently open your eyes slowly. And inhale one last time. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. How do you guys feel?
Nice.
Nice?
Very nice.
Okay. It's a very simple thing to do, but it works. And you can do this yourself. You can go through this mindfulness exercise just by thinking about each part of your body and breathing, taking deep breaths. Do this before an exam, do this when you're very stressed out, and it certainly helps to ground you, to feel connected, and to feel at peace. All right, so these are some of the resources we talk about, different options available. I'm not gonna go through all of this, but you will have the opportunity to click on those once you have the presentation available. So health and support resources, we have, I'm going to click on the next slide. We also have planning and organizational and time management skills, especially for intellectual dimension, career opportunities. So Mason 360, University Career Services, all of these options. And then we have school community, finances, academic advising. We talk about that one, extremely important. So utilize all these different options. They help with all the dimensions of your body, your mind, every dimension in yourself. And thank you so much for staying here with us. This is the end of our last workshop of the semester, Boost Your Well-Being. This recording will also be available online. If you want to go back and maybe practice the mindfulness exercise again, you can do it. I truly appreciate you guys coming, participating, and sharing with us. Have a wonderful weekend and practice your mindfulness and well-being. Thank you so much. All right, thank you.
We have a long day today, so that little mindfulness thing
Mhm.
started me off great.
Oh, okay.